This is the Rupes S145EPL, and this is much more than just a vacuum. It's going to do three key things for you. It's going to provide a safer work environment, it's going to perform very well, and third, it's going to give you a cleaner shop. More on the details when we get back. I'm Tim Johnson. This is Shop Tool Reviews. The Rupes name is nothing new to the finishing world. In fact, way back in 1947 is when they had their start in Milan, Italy. And also in 1968, they made the world's first electric dual action or DA sander. Now, as far as the U.S. is concerned, we see Rupes a lot in the auto detailing world with their polishers and buffers, and they make some really, really good tools. Now, they're also starting to make their play into the kind of the body shop world and even the woodworking world with their sanders as well as their dust extractors or vacuums. Now, this S145EPL is much more than just a vacuum. It's actually an electro-pneumatic vacuum or electro-pneumatic dust extractor. And what does electro-pneumatic mean? Basically, it's electric over pneumatic. So it actually plugs in and is powered by electricity, but it's triggered by air pressure or by that pneumatic side. So you can plug this into your standard 120 volt outlet and then also plug your pneumatic line or your air line into it. And then when your pneumatic tools are plugged into it, once the tool is called on, it's automatically going to trigger the vacuum to actually start pulling that vacuum through the tool and extracting that dust or extracting that particulate, whatever you're sanding. Now, this includes a 1200 watt motor that develops about 100 CFM of vacuum through this. So about 100 cubic feet per minute of air is pulling through this machine, and it's dual filtered. So it first filters through a fleece bag, and then it filters through a cartridge filter. So the air that's actually exiting into your shop is dual filtered, and that fleece bag's also going to help that filter stay clean. Now, you'll also notice on this that you actually have two air outlets, or actually air inlets here, where you can actually plug your tools in here, and this is your air supply. So you can run two tools off of this. You also see the splitter here for the vacuum hose as well. So you can run two hoses, and if not, you've got the spring-loaded door here that's going to keep that side sealed while you're just pulling one tool off of it. Now, it's not just pneumatically triggered as well. You see you also have a 120 volt outlet right here. So if you have an electric sander or electric tool, you can plug that in, and when that tool is called on, it's automatically going to pull the vacuum on, turn the vacuum on as well. So you can see here from the switch, you can turn this on to M for manual or A to automatic, so that automatically triggers that when the tool is actually called on. It's going to trigger that vacuum on. Not just that, that's going to be at 100% there. If you dial that down, you can actually turn down the power on this vacuum where it's pulling less CFM. So maybe you have a little smaller of a tool and you don't want as much air coming through it. You can dial that down to what you want to, or you can manually turn it on and use it as a vacuum, whatever you need to. We've been using our S145 for longer than 5 months, and typically on a daily use, at least through the weekdays, we're using this thing. So it's getting a lot of work. We used it on primer, on body filler, on old paint, on base coat, as well as even on wood. And it works excellent across the board. And you can see here where we're using this, and we use a typical DA sander without a vacuum port on it and not hooked up to the Rupes S145. And you can see immediately it's starting to create dust on both the base coat as well as on the primer, and it's immediately starting to create dust and even leaving piles of residual behind as well. And we all know what happens to that. That body filler, that primer just starts floating around and coats the whole shop, and typically you're breathing that in as well. And you can see when we switch to the Rupes, or switch to the sander that's connected to the Rupes, that not only are we not creating dust, it's actually picking up the residual that was left behind by the other sander. So the ports actually on the sander, it's pulling all that dust through these ports, through that sandpaper, into the hose, and into this system, and it's not creating any dust outside of that. Now, if you've used your typical shop vac, when you sweep your floor up and you got all that primer and body filler dust, and you take your typical floor vac or shop vac and you suck that up, typically you see that cloud come out the back of it. And then when it is time to clean up that shop vac, what's happened to your filter? It's plugged solid with all that particulate. Well, you can see here on the Rupes, when we actually take this apart, and I'm telling you this has been used for months and months, and I've never changed a bag in this, you can see how clean that cartridge filter is. So hardly anything's coming past that fleece bag, so that cartridge filter stays really clean and you're not getting any residual past that. So the air that you're breathing, the air that's dumping into your shop is much safer to breathe, much cleaner, and it's keeping all that dust off the rest of your shop. Now what you get here is a 12-gallon canister to collect all your particulate, or to hold that bag that's collecting all your particulate here. So you get a large base here that's on swivel casters on the front, large casters on the back, so it rolls around quite easily whether you're pulling it with the hose or grabbing the handle and pulling it around. And then you actually have the holder for a typical 6-inch sander, which makes it really nice to just hang this up there so you can roll this unit around wherever you need it. Now when it comes time to change the bag on the Rupes, a really cool feature built right into the fleece bags is the lid that's attached to the port there. So you can see when you take this off the unit, you take the lid that's attached, you cover it up, so now you've got a contained unit. You put that in your trash can. Again, you're not creating any more dust. You put your new bag in, close it back up, and you're ready to go. Now you can see here on the supplied vacuum hose is you get the vacuum hose, and then you get an integrated air supply here that's built into the vacuum hose. So you can easily plug this into your vacuum, and then with the quick coupler here, you can just push your air line in. It automatically locks into place. Easily pull that out typically and unhook that. But you can plug that in and you've got an integrated hose. You're not having two hoses that you need to duct tape together or Velcro together or what have you that you have to take care of. Just one hose here. Same on the other end, on the tool end, that you can actually hook that to the dust port on your sander, as well as another quick connect here to easily click to the tools as well, or connect to the tools as well. Like I mentioned, we've used this for over 5 months, and for the 5 months that we've used it, it's worked flawless. We've not had one issue. When I call on the tool, it automatically calls on. We've had multiple people use this, and the same scenario for them. Whenever they need it to work, it works. Using it in manual mode works great as well, so we'll vacuum up the shop or you know, clean up some mess after we've had to Durablock some stuff. So hey, there's another opportunity, Rupes. Maybe you can make a vacuum port for Durablock for blocking out the primers and fillers. That'd be great. Anyway, so check this out. It's the Rupes S145EPL. It's probably going to start somewhere in the $600 range. Now, typically when I'm talking about a $600 tool, whether I'm talking about an impact wrench or maybe some kind of you know, combo unit, when I'm talking about $600, I'll probably lead with something like, well, hey, if you need X, then yeah, this is worth it. If you need to do something, then this is a good kit to have. In this scenario, I'm just saying that this is a great kit to have, period. Because if you're doing any type of body work, I know where that dust is going. I've been in plenty of situations myself. I walk in plenty of shops and see where that dust is going. It's going in your lungs. It's going all over the shop. And I'm not a big safety first guy. I'm not the first guy that walks in and starts claiming safety this, safety that. In this situation, it is something to be concerned about, and it's so easy to fix with just literally a purchase. It's really worth doing. Also, when it comes to cleaning up your shop and you've got all that dust that's now not floating in your shop and it's actually being collected in a bag, easy to change. Again, it's kind of a no-brainer. You need some type of dust extraction system. You can check them out at rupes-usa.com. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Have a great day.